Hello guys, welcome back to another Hardcore Nuzlocke. I'm Pokemon Surfer, and this time I'm attempting a grass-only Hardcore Nuzlocke in Pokemon White 2. Grass-type Pokemon are probably the weakest type. They have some of the best starters moves in the game, but that's it. These types are super effective against grass-type Pokemon, and these types resist grass-type moves. Sounds scary already, right? Well, it is. We have the poisonous Roxy, the Buggy Berg, the Flying Skyla, the Dragon Kick Drayden, the Steely Chorus, the fiery rival Ember, and the Dragon Princess Iris. Yeah, this game was not meant to be ruled by the grass types. But in spite of that, I think I can somehow outwit the AI and beat this game with these underdogs. Pokemon White 2 has these grass type Pokemon in the game. Out of these, Cottony is a Black 2 exclusive. You could trade your Petilil and obtain a Cottony, but I'm not gonna do that, cause I'm not stupid. Leafeon is obtainable only after beating the Elite Four, so it is out. Maractus is auditioning for Bring It On, so it isn't here. I don't eat mushrooms, so Fungus is out. That leaves us with these Pokemon. Not the most impressive team, but we can work with it. Here are the rules. I can only catch the first grass type Pokemon in each area. If a Pokemon faints, it dies. No items allowed during gym battles, no more leveling than the gym leader's ace. The game must be played on set mode. For detailed rules, check out the description below this video. Let's dive in. I am Bear, my rival is Honey. Get it? Bianca gave me my stylish grass starter Snivy. I named her Jenny. Then I went to Route 20 for my first grass type encounter. I was expecting to catch a Swaddle, who has the highest encounter rate here. But instead, I encountered this crying abomination of a Sunkern. Yeah, I know Sunkern is a rare encounter, but it sucks. And I had already planned all my strategies with Swaddle in mind. So this was a great setback. Whatever, that's life. It sucks sometimes. I named my Sunkern Sunny and headed back to Espertia City for my first gym battle. Sharon used to be a smart trainer in Pokemon White, but in Pokemon White 2, he became the stupidest of the stupid. He kept using Work Up, and Jenny kept whipping his Pokemon with Vine Whip. In the end, I won this gym battle without taking a single hit. Easy win. But this is where the easy part ends. The next gym was the Poison Gym. There were no new grass type encounters on the way, so I had to challenge this gym with a Snivy and a Sunkern. The good news was that Roxy's coughing didn't know any dangerous poison type moves. The bad news was that Roxy's Whirlipede used Venoshock, that is not only super effective but also doubles its power if I get poisoned. None of my Pokemon would be able to survive it. So, what do you do in this situation? Well, firstly, you jog around the city and maximize your Pokemon's friendship. With maximum friendship, Return's power increases to a whopping 102. Then, you evolve your Snivy into Servine. After that, you challenge Roxy and make use of the strongest grass type move, Leech Seed. Sunny missed her first Leech Seed but landed the second one. Then I attacked with the Grass Whistle and put Coughing to sleep. I thought this would be a great opportunity to cleanly switch to Jenny, but Coughing woke up instantly and attacked with Assurance. But that's okay. Jenny recovered most of her HP from Leech Seed. Then I used Growth. Growth increases my attack and special attack. Coughing kept attacking me with Smog. He missed a few of them, but when he did land one, Jenny recovered her HP with Leech Seed. Like this, I stacked up 6 Growths. Then I attacked with Return and knocked out Coughing in a single shot. Roxy sent out her Whirlipede. Jenny's Return had to knock out Whirlipede in one shot. And Jenny did knock out Whirlipede in a single shot. Yay! I won my second gym badge. In Castelia City sewers, I found the most important item of this challenge, Leftovers. Leftovers recover 1/16th of your HP every turn. It's extremely helpful while stacking up setup moves. In the abandoned parking lot, I caught a Petilil and named her Jisoo. I also obtained TM Flash from a sketchy guy in the dark alley. Then I challenged the bug type gym leader, Perk. I was in the same super situation as before. Bug type moves were super effective on my Pokemon, and my Pokemon's grass type moves did nothing to them. And this time, I couldn't even use Leech Seed to set up growth. Berg, Swadloom, and Leavenny are part grass types who don't get affected by Leech Seed. So, what do? Well, you become a paparazzi and yell, Lights, camera, flash! Flash reduces opponent's accuracy. If you use it twice, the chances of landing a hit become 50%. So I began the battle with Jenny and used Flash twice. Initially, Swadloon landed all his attacks, but later on he began missing them. I used this to stack up on growth and recover some HP from leftovers. After using growth 6 times, I attacked Swadloon with return and knocked him out. Dwebble survived Jenny's Mega Drain, thanks to his ability Sturdy that saves him from 1-hit knockouts. But he eventually went down after a few more Mega Drains. Perk sent out his ace Leavenny. He outsped Jenny and attacked with a super effective Struggle Bug. Jenny fought back with a return and knocked him out. I won my third gym badge. Jisoo told me she wanted to be a singer, so I went to Nimbasa City and put her in a musical. The show was lame, but Jisoo was great. YG, are you watching this? I trespassed some houses in Nimbasa City and found a sunstone. I used it to evolve Jisoo to Lilligant. Ideally, I would have waited a little longer and learned some more moves before evolving her, but Elisa's Zep Striker uses the fire-type move Flame Charge. Also, all of other Pokemon use Volt Switch, so I couldn't use Leech Seed and set up growth. Lilligant was my only hope. I began the battle with Jenny. She held leftovers and attacked the flying and electric type Emolga with return. Emolga fought back with Volt Switch and Elisa sent out her ace Zep Striker. Jenny kept attacking Zep Striker with returns, but Elisa used a Hyper Potion and restored all of Zep Striker's HP. On the next turn, Zep Striker attacked with the super effective Flame Charge. Jenny lost a lot of HP. I had to switch her with Jisoo. Jisoo attacked Zep Striker with Giga Drain and knocked her out. Then she Yokoed Flaffy with another Giga Drain. Elisa was now down to her last Pokemon, Emolga. Though Emolga is a part flying type, she didn't know any flying type move. So Jisoo easily knocked her out with a return and a decisive Giga Drain. I won my 4th gym badge. I bought TM Reflect from the Pokemon Center and taught it to Jenny. Then I headed out towards Driftveil City. On my way, I met a weirdo named Heartbreaker Charles who wanted to triple battle with me. I told him no twice, but he wouldn't take a no for an answer. This is why you're single, dude. In the end, I had to battle him. This was another terrifying battle. Heartbreaker Charles had 2 scary flying types on his team, Sigilyph and Arkin. Sigilyph uses the super effective air cutter that often hits a crit, and Arkin uses a powerful move, Pluck. If I wasn't careful here, this could be a wipeout. I began the battle with Jisoo's Giga Drain and Yokoed Arkin. Sigilyph attacked with air cutter. Sonny barely survived it, and Jenny used Reflect to halve all damage from future air cutters. Then Sonny attacked with Endeavor and brought down Sigilyph's HP to a sliver. Haha, you weren't expecting that, were you? But in the next turn, Tortuga attacked Sonny with an Aqua Jet and knocked her out. Oops, I wasn't expecting that. Jisoo attacked with Giga Drain and knocked out Tortuga. Jenny knocked out Sigilyph with return, and I won the battle. But I had to say goodbye to Sonny. Not that I care, but a loss is a loss. On Route 6, I caught a wild deer that ran away from Disney. I named him Bambi. Then I headed to Lost Lone Forest. Lost Lone Forest was a grass-type Pokemon haven. It had Swadloon, Petilil, Roselia, and Bansage. It also had fully evolved Pokemon like Leavenny, Lilligant, and Growth Rate. The Nuzlocke rules allowed me to capture only one grass-type Pokemon here, but I thought This challenge would be a lot more fun if I caught all of them. You guys would also get to see me use something other than lead seed and growth. So I decided to make an exception this time. I got a Spartloon and named her Senorita. I got a Roselia and named her Rose. Then I put my sanity levels on risk while looking for a Pansage. Pansage is a super rare encounter in Lost Lone Forest. It has a 5% encounter rate and it appears only in rustling grass. I spent a good 30 minutes looking for it. After finding every other Pokemon living in this forest, I finally found one Pansage, caught it in a Pokeball, and named him Broccoli. Then I challenged Clay, the ground type gym leader. This was one of the few gyms where my Pokemon were at an advantage. I chose my ace Jisoo and wiped out Clay's entire team with super effective Giga Drains. I won my 5th gym badge. In Chartstone Cave, I caught a metal cactus, Ferroseed. I named him Ron. After looking at Ferroseed's stats, I thought this was one of those trash mons. But oh no, I was so wrong. Be ready to witness the greatness of the metal cactus. But before that, everybody needs to level up for the next gym battle. Jenny evolved into the ultimate fashionista, Superior. Bambi evolved into Saucebuck. The next battle was against the flying type gym leader, Skylar. All her Pokemon were faster and could knock out my Pokemon with a single hit. I had to rack my brain for a couple of hours to come up with a strategy to beat her. Even after all that brainstorming, I wasn't sure if my plan would actually work. But here's what I did anyway. First, I EV trained Jisoo with some wild Basculins in Aspertia City. Each Basculin gave me 2 speed EVs. Combine it with the Macho Brace and you have 4 speed EVs from a single battle. I gave EXP share to Senorita while EV training Jisoo. She also gained some speed EVs and evolved into Leavanny. Then I challenged the flying type gym leader, Skylar. I began with Broccoli. Zubat attacked with Acrobatics, super powerful flying type move. But Broccoli survived it thanks to the Eviolite he was holding. Then Broccoli attacked with Torment. Torment prevents the opponent from using the same move again. This means Zubat could not use Acrobatics in the next turn, and I could cleanly switch to Jenny. In the next turn, Zubat used Acrobatics again. Jenny survived it and used Reflect. Now all of Zubat's attacks would cause 50% lesser damage. Then I switched to Bambi and used Charm. Charm reduces the attack by 2 stages. After 2 more charms, Zubat's attacks were barely doing any damage. I used Lead Seed and switched to Jisoo. Then I stacked up on growths. Every time Zubat attacked with Acrobatics, I recovered my HP with Leftovers and Lead Seed. After Jisoo successfully stacked up 6 growths, I attacked with Giga Drains and knocked out Skylar's Zubat in one shot. Thanks to the EV training, Jisoo outsped Swanna and OHKO'd her with the Giga Drain. Then Skylar sent out her last Pokemon, Skarmory. Skarmory was 4 times resistant to grass-type moves, so I used Sleep Powder and put her to sleep. Then I knocked her out with a couple of Giga Drains and won my 6th gym badge. I exited the gym in the coolest possible way. Hats off to the super creative developers. I stole some kids' treasure and got the TM Aerial Ace. Then I picked up TM Shadowclaw in the Celestial Tower. Now I was ready for my long trip to Opelucid City. On my way, Ron evolved into Ferrothorn. I used the Leaf Stone and evolved Broccoli to Simisage. I also used the Shiny Stone and evolved Rose to Roserade. On Route 13, I caught Tangela. I named her Tangy. The next gym battle was with the Dragon-type gym leader, Drayton. Dragon-types resist Grass-type moves, but this time I had the Steel and Grass-type Ferrothorn on my team. Just have a look at Ferrothorn's stats. Amazing attack, defense, and special defense. What a beast. Yeah, its speed is awful, but he makes up for it with the move Gyro Ball. The slower the user compared to the opponent, the higher the damage from Gyro Ball. So if the opponent is 4 times faster than Ron, Gyro Ball becomes a 100 power move. Combine it with the move curse that increases attack and defense but reduces speed, and you have a monstrous combination with you. I exchanged to hard scale with the move reminder and taught curse to Ron. Then I challenged Raiden. I began the battle with Bambi and attacked with Charm to reduce Druddigan's attack. 3 charms later, I attacked with Lead Seed and switched to Ron. But immediately upon the switch, Raiden attacked with Dragon Tail. Dragon Tail inflicts damage and forces the opponent to switch. Ron got switched with Rose. I immediately switched back to Ron. Then I used Curse to increase my attack and reduce my speed. Every time Drayton attacked, I recovered my HP with Lead Seed. I was planning to stack up 4 curses, but before I could do that, Smarty Pants Drayton used Dragon Tail once again. Ron got switched with Jenny, and I lost all my stat changes. I called out Ron again and tried to set up Curse again, but Druddigan's HP was too low at this point. I could only use Curse once before he fainted from Lead Seed. This wasn't looking good. Raiden sent out Flygon. He attacked with Earth Power that hit a crit. I attacked with super effective Power Whip, but it missed. Flygon attacked with one more Earth Power. Ron survived it and attacked with one more Power Whip. This time, it hit Flygon and he fainted. Raiden sent out his last Pokémon, Haxorus. He used Dragon Dance that increases his speed. This was good cause Ron's Gyro Ball would now hit harder. I attacked with a supercharged Gyro Ball and Haxorus fainted. Everything went wrong, but I won my 7th gym badge anyway. Yay! After some icy cold Team Plasma stuff, I headed to Humilao City and challenged the Water type gym leader. Finally, a much needed easy gym battle. Jisoo attacked with Giga Drains and knocked out Marlins Caracosta, Wailord, and Jellicent. And just like that, I won my 8th gym badge. Now I can challenge the Elite Four, but before that, I had to attend to some more Team Plasma business. The first challenging Team Plasma battle was with the Psycho Betrayer, Cordris. For this battle, I taught Ron Bulldoze, a convenient ground-type move given to me by the ground-type gym leader, Clay. Magneton attacked Ron with a not-so-effective Flash Cannon. I recovered my HP with the help of leftovers and attacked with Bulldoze. A couple of Bulldoze later, Magneton fainted. Up next was Magnezone. It paralyzed Ron with a Thunder Wave. I used Curse to increase my attack and defense. Then Magnezone attacked with a not-so-effective Flash Cannon. I attacked with the super-effective Bulldoze, but Magnezone hung on due to its ability Sturdy. Then luck just gave up on me. Cordris used a Hyper Potion and recovered all of Magnezone's HP. Ron stayed paralyzed for 2 turns. Thank God Ron was holding leftovers, else this battle would have been over by now. On his 3rd turn, Ron finally attacked Magnezone with Bulldoze. Magnezone hung on, but Ron got him with the next Bulldoze. Cordris sent out Klinklang. Klinklang is a tricky opponent. It floats in the air with its air balloon. That means you can't use ground-type moves on it. It also stacks up on shift gear that sharply increases its speed and attack. To beat him, I first attacked with Facade. Since Ron was paralyzed, Facade's power doubled. Facade also popped Klinklang's air balloon. Now I could use ground-type moves on it. I attacked with a couple of Bulldoze and knocked out Klinklang. Calder sent out Metang. He kept attacking me with the not-so-effective Meteor Mash. I attacked with a couple of Bulldoze and knocked him out. Calder sent out his last Pokemon, Behem. Behem attacked me mid-psychic as I stayed paralyzed. On my 2nd turn, I hit him with Facade. And on my 3rd turn, I knocked him out with a Gyro Ball. I defeated the Betrayer, Cordris. Time to deal with the number 1 wanted person on Stranger Danger list, Kedsis. and also his zombie pet, Kyurem. Hey guys, this video is getting a lot longer than my usual videos, so I have divided it into two parts. The link to the second video will appear somewhere on your screen right now. I'll also put it in the description. See you in the next video. Until then, keep Pokemoning.